want you to imagine with me two different people. One of them is a man and one of them is a woman. They both have the same goal in life. They want to be as attractive as humanly possible, and they're willing to go to extreme lengths to get there. Now, the man will invest in some skincare products, going to the gym, but he will also invest in some more extreme means of getting there, such as bone smashing or using testosterone at a very young age when it's completely unnecessary. And the woman will do similar things. The woman will invest in makeup and some skincare, and they'll do something a little more extreme. They will look into plastic surgery to try and fix the flaws in their face. The flaws, in quotation marks. Now, this is the same problem, presented in two different people, and that's what I want to talk about today. Because you have these two sides of the same coin, and it seems like they're mocking each other, which doesn't make sense when they're doing literally the same thing. So what am I talking about? Well, there are two primary things that I want to talk about, and it's plastic surgery culture as well as looks maxing culture. So plastic surgery culture is definitely more of a modern thing. You can definitely see it with like the Kardashians. A bunch of modern female celebrities have taken upon themselves to undertake a ton of surgeries, a lot of which are completely unnecessary, but they'll argue that it's necessary because they want to be as attractive as humanly possible. And looks maxing is a similar thing to that. Looks maxing, when treated normally, is simply just a man going to the gym, getting skincare products, taking their health a lot more seriously, because that really is what it is, right? We want to be attractive because it is a biological marker of our health. It tells us that we are healthy, and it signals to potential mates that we are suitable partners, that we will continue on the line, and that our offspring will look reasonable. They'll look good. Because if the offspring is more attractive, they will have a better chance at finding a partner, and the cycle continues. But people treat these two very similar things very differently. One side mocks the other side, and vice versa. And that doesn't make sense to me because they're doing precisely the same thing. It's been very normalized for women to undertake a lot of plastic surgeries or things to just enhance their face. That's what they've been asked of since they were little. You know, they see ads when they're young that show these very skinny women, borderline anorexic women. And that's the model of beauty. That is the societal model of beauty. And they want to be that because of course they do, because that's all they know of what beauty is. It is this very specific model that is ever changing. And you can see this primarily with the Kardashians. If you look at the Kardashians, right, you can see pretty much the evolution of what plastic surgery is popular, what kind of beauty trends are popular at that time, because that's what they are, right? The Kardashians want to be as beautiful as possible, and they're willing to go to extreme lengths to get there because they have the money to substantiate it. This means that they need to keep adapting, and it means that they'll never really be done with plastic surgeries. It'll just keep going because it's never enough. It can't be enough, because the societal trends are just that. They're trends. They're fads. The zeitgeist is ever changing, so they can never truly be the perfect model of beauty. They can get very close, but they will never truly be that, especially in retrospect. If you look at them 10 years ago, they're a completely different model of beauty. They're still attractive, but it's completely different. And then you also have looks maxing on the male side, which I can talk more about as someone that is a man. Looks maxing, when done correctly, I think is very positive for men. In the same way that makeup should be positive for women. It's a form of expression. Bodybuilding and trying to look good, I think is definitely very positive. It's positive to take your health a lot more seriously. It's positive to go to the gym. You can just try to be as healthy as possible because that's what matters, but that's not how it's being interpreted by the public. Like, for instance, let's take Clavicular, who was recently in the news for driving over, like literally running over a crazed stalker that was on his car, which was a little bit of an overreaction. I get it, but that doesn't require potentially killing someone. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but he was known for injecting fat dissolving gel into his cheeks. He did that to his girlfriend. He started taking testosterone at 14. You don't need testosterone at 14. He's infertile now because obviously he's going to be infertile if he starts doing that at the beginning of puberty. That makes no sense, especially considering if you look at his physique, not to bash him, but his physique is attainable, completely attainable without steroids. So I don't know why that was done at all when he could have just worked out and maybe waited like a few years before he did that. But he needed to be attractive immediately. You don't need to be attractive immediately. You can hold off. It's okay to look kind of ugly when you're young. You're still figuring out who you are. It's fine. If you want to wear the Minecraft shirt, you should wear the Minecraft shirt. Nobody should really care when you're young. We should stop having young people dress up as adults, but that's a separate issue entirely. Yeah, but the real question is, why do we treat them so negatively, right? Because at the crux of it, it's insecurity. It's obviously insecurity. Why would you want to change everything about yourself if you weren't insecure about everything about yourself, right? If you want to change every physical characteristic of yourself, then you don't like how you look. You're unhappy with how you look. And that's what's happened. And I can see this specifically with, I think beauty ads, or I think the fat positivity movement. I think that's a good example of it. So the majority of the people I see in the fat positivity movement are morbidly obese women. And I don't mean that to be mean. That is what they are. And I think it's completely okay to love your body and be happy with your figure, but it's unhealthy. It's incredibly unhealthy. Being obese, being diabetic will result in you running into a bunch of these health problems. I think it's okay to, for instance, while I'm bulking, right? I bulked earlier this year. Like, that was taxing on my body. I was definitely a little bit fat. And it wasn't amazing, but I had to do what I had to do. It's okay to be a little fat. It's okay to do that in pursuit of your goals. But if you're okay with just being completely unhealthy, that doesn't make sense to me. In the same way that it doesn't make sense to use GLP-1s if you don't absolutely need them. Because what you've done is you haven't really fixed your diet at all. All you've done is change from like 2 donuts to 1 donut. And that's better. That's objectively better. But you're still exclusively eating donuts. You know what I mean? So really what I'm trying to get at is that we live in a culture where people have to appear perfect. And people are not perfect. People are very far from perfect. And it's gotten to the point where like these people are starting to look completely subhuman. If you look at them, they look insane. They look completely insane. And it's incredibly unhealthy what they're doing to themselves. You don't need to be unhealthy in the pursuit of looking attractive. You can just do normal things to look attractive. It doesn't need to be this massive pursuit where you're destroying your body. It doesn't need to be that. But the reason we feel like it needs to be that is because of the algorithm. The algorithm will keep pushing these things because they gain traction. You see a dude with a hammer and he's going at his face. You're curious about that. You're going to comment what is happening because it's crazy. Yeah, it's a crazy visual and it gets you intrigued and it keeps you scrolling because now you want to know what this is. What is this? Why does this dude have a hammer? Why is he bashing his face? It makes sense, algorithmically. Not bashing these people will result in very positive outcomes for these people, because it is an insecurity thing. You look completely fine as you are. If you really do have an extreme flaw, you can fix that. But, you know, like if your nose is like slightly off kilter, that's not a very big deal. Like, I'm sure people notice that, but I'm sure they're not like, she's ugly. This bitch needs to kill. Nobody's thinking that. No, it's really not about who's right or wrong. It's about why are we looking to screens to tell us what we're worth? If you look around, you're going to see average looking people. That's what people are supposed to look like. The people you see on the street that you're like, yeah, she's cute. Yeah, he's okay looking. Right? Like, these are the real people. These are real people. You don't need to be perfect because social media is completely skewed. It's completely skewed. It's inaccurate. It's completely inaccurate. Advertising is inaccurate. So love your body, but if you do have flaws, you should try to do something about them. You're not completely perfect, but you're not worthless. There's a middle ground. You can do skincare, you can work out, you can hit the gym, do cardio. You can do all these things. It's perfectly fine to want to better yourself. You don't need to hate yourself in the process of it. Like, come on. Like, Jesus.